Hello, my dear Franken friends, and welcome to Spookyou, your one-stop shop for all things ghastly and ghoulish. I'm your host, Barnabas Vixen. How horrible of you to join us. Curl up, invite your friends, and by all means, make sure those lights are out. That way it's harder to tell what may or may not be lurking around you. There's nothing like a good mystery, am I right? Tonight will feature a singular tale of devilish design, curated by those wicked weavers of woe. And without further ado, allow me to pass the reins on over to our vivacious voiceover virtuoso, Trey Falco, for tonight's sinister story. Please keep all limbs and side covers at all times. We wouldn't want anything to go missing now, would we?
I work as a nurse in a psychiatric unit which is conveniently tucked away around the back of an old hospital. I'm on night shift at the moment, and most of the nights is spent trying to convince manic patients to return to their bed. We were having a strangely quiet night. The staff usually sit in the corridor at the intersection between the male and female sides of the ward. We can hear everything that's going on better from there and intervene quicker if needs be. There's a shower room located just to the left of where we sit. It's got a toilet and short wall partition separating the shower in the far corner of the room. So as we were sitting there, the door to the shower room slowly crept open. No big deal. We got up, closed it again, and went on with the night. And then it happened again about an hour later, and again, we thought nothing of it. And after closing the door a second time, though, we soon heard the sounds of water running. So I got up to check and found the tap in the shower room was running. And I thought it must have been faulty, but when I tried to turn it off, it spun easily and stopped running water. Feeling a little freaked out now, I checked around the partition to the shower in case a patient was somehow hiding there, but there was no one. And when I turned to walk back out, I felt a sudden chill in the back of my neck and heard a sound like gas hissing behind me.
Death check! Oh, Barnabas here. Just checking to see if you're still alive.
I glanced back around and checked the shower, which seemed to work fine, and just assumed there was trapped air or something. The next night, we were sitting in the same place, and again, it was an unusually quiet night until around 2 a.m., when we heard a massive bang and then a dull thud, as if something had hit against a wall and then slid to the floor. The noise seemed to be quite close, and we hurriedly looked through each dormitory and individual patient room, expecting that one of the patients had fallen, but everyone was still sound asleep apart from one patient who told us that she had trouble sleeping the last few nights and asked to watch some television in the sitting room. We continued with our search but couldn't seem to find anything to explain the sound and sat back down in the corridor where we started to talk about ghosts and joking about being haunted. The patient who couldn't sleep asked if she could smoke in the toilet. We occasionally let people do this during the night as we aren't allowed to let them off in the unit after 10 p.m. And trying to tell an avid smoker they can't have a cigarette is a sure way to start a fight that'll cause everyone to be woken up. We said she could have a quick one in the shower room before going back to bed, and she asked for one of us to come in there with her. And when we asked why, she explained, "Because that room freaks me out. There are spirits in there that are trying to come through the mirrors." Now, we had heard stuff like this from patients on a regular basis, so we didn't really think much of it and offered her some reassurance, and I agreed to come into the bathroom with her. While we were in there, she talked about seeing the ghost of a man in her room which kept her up at night. She then stopped talking abruptly and looked confused before going over to peer around the partition. I asked her what was wrong, and she shushed me and asked in a whisper if I had heard what she heard. I admitted I couldn't hear anything. Again, it's common occurrence for people to talk about auditory hallucinations on our ward. But I asked her what she could hear. She said she thought she could hear a dripping sound, but there was no water running, and when she checked behind the partition, she heard a hissing sound. I suggested she finish her cigarette and get back to bed, and she asked for some medication to calm her down, and then said, "Man, I hate the bathroom. The door opens and closes on itself, you know?" After she went back to bed, I was telling the other staff about this, and we were joking about how much of a freaky coincidence it all was. We were still discussing it when the day staff came in, and when the first nurse arrived, she came over to ask how the night shift was, and we asked her if she believed in ghosts in a jokey way. She said that she didn't, but she had bad memories of the ward that sometimes freaked her out. She told us that the worst thing she ever saw was 20 years ago when she was doing the hourly checks on the ward once. Just to check on each patient every hour to check and see if they're okay. She couldn't find one patient and went into the shower room because she could hear water running in there. She checked around the partition and found the guy lying dead in a pool of blood in the shower. Apparently he had hacked himself to death with 2 blades. An obviously very unwell man. The nurse told us that ever since that happened, a few times she's gone into the shower room and felt a sudden rush of cold air, as if someone was trying to run past her. Anyways, I may have to start looking for a new job.
Welcome back, my darling deviants. Well, tell me, did you enjoy that twisted tale? Of course you did. I knew you had that air about you, that hunger for the horrific and the macabre. So, did we spook you? If not, then file a complaint with our complaint department detailing all accounts of non-spookiness you found in this video, and we'll get back to you in 2 to 3 millennia. Give or take a business eon or 2. However, if you've enjoyed what you've just heard this evening, then make sure you leave a like on this video and annihilate that subscribe button. Such a small act of obedience is exactly what we need to put the food on the table around here. There's only so many days we can have refried kidney and toe jam hash before I'm absolutely sick of it. Spoiler alert, that ship sailed long ago. Now, I must bid you adieu. I've many things to take care of, and this outro is eating into my day off. Run along now. Have no fear, we'll be here every Tuesday and Thursday to bring you another terrible tale. Go forth, my ghastly gang, and stay spooky.